All right. Good evening, guys. Happy Saturday. We have started. So let's see if we get some screen time and some ear time. You guys can hear me and see me, and we'll get this going. All right. Prep Rebel and HVS Jacob say 555, and I can't even see me yet. Okay. Here comes probably an ad. Maybe. Nope. Just straight to me. Okay. All right, Healthy Disrespect, Tom Scott, Florida Mama Bear, Kilo 2 Bravo, Krista. Cool, a bunch of you guys can see me and hear me. Happy Saturday, guys. All right, so as we plod on along, made it through another week, crazy as it was. Uh, Hoping everybody's hanging in there. The big news, I guess, the last couple of days, not that it overly affects us, but the sudden death of Navalny in Russia is kind of really throwing a curveball at the world. Uh, Mrs. P was reading some stories today, and the family finally got the birth certificate or the birth certificate, and the cause of death was sudden death. No shit, Sherlock. Uh, yeah, this one's going to be really interesting because if you haven't seen it already, you know, the silencing of political opponents around the world is really starting to become a problem. Zelensky did it. Putin's been messing with Navalny for years. Joe Biden's doing it, whole 9 yards. And if you don't think they're all part of the same cabal, you're sadly mistaken. Okay. All the Russia crap we heard out of Adam Schiff's mouth for 4 years. Yeah, except Putin came out and said that he hopes Biden wins. Why? Because Biden's a pussy. Okay. Putin can do whatever he wants and there's no repercussions. Joe's just like, oh, we'll send him weapons. And Russia goes, fine, we'll just blow them up. No big deal. you know, it it doesn't matter. You can put something in front of somebody who's never been trained on it. They don't know how to use it effectively. So, that's it. We're just pissing money away. Joe's taking his kickbacks, and, the military industrial complex is cool. We'll make more. No problem. You're paying for them. Yeah. So, yeah, the corruption's crazy. But, yeah, who knows where we're going with that. So, the only thing we can do at this point is just keep doing what we do, preparing for the inevitable, for when this all comes crashing down. And y'all know as well as I do, it could be tomorrow, it could be next week, next month, next year, next decade, next century. Who knows? All right. But that's the thing. Who knows? It could be tomorrow or next week. And it's so important for us to do everything we can to keep stockpiling. Every day we have is another day we have to stockpile whatever we think we're going to need, to make those arrangements, to get that training, to make those acquaintances, to whatever will benefit us and our survival in the debacle that is Earth. You guys know as well as I do that there isn't a politician on the face of the earth who gives a shit about the people. Okay. Not in our country, not in any other country. They're all out for themselves. And you know what? We need to do the same. They'll all take care of themselves. Their little cliques that they have in Washington, to take care of themselves. We just need to do the same. But they seem to forget there's a whole hell of a lot more of us than there are of them. Okay. Not everybody will make it. You know that. I know that. We all hope we're one of the ones, depending on the situation. If we have nuclear Armageddon, I don't want to survive it. We all hope we're going to make it. We all know we're not going. Not everybody's going to. We all expect we are going to lose people close to us, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whatever. We know that's coming, and we try to mentally prepare ourselves for it. We try to spiritually prepare ourselves for it. It's gonna suck. All these people that are coming online, the keyboard Rambos go, let's just get it on already, are idiots. Okay. Nobody's ever come out and said, hey, war is fun. Let's go have another one. Unless you're a politician and you don't have to go fight it. Okay. That's the thing. The politicians all think that the military is going to stand around and go, we'll protect you, Mr. Biden. We'll protect you, Mr. Obama. Don't you worry about it. They're like, fuck them. It's like, Joe, you're useless. Boom. It's like the old story about the guy who hires a bunch of special forces people to protect his bunker. And eventually the special forces guys, the Green Berets, sit there and look around and go, what the hell do we need him for? Done. Gone. End of story. Thanks. You built all this. We'll just take it from you. And that's pretty much what we all have to be prepared for, to not only avoid having stuff taken from us, but ultimately to be the takers, okay? To take our country back. So there you go. That's my little brainchild for the night. All right, let's get into some Q&A here tonight. We will start. Guys, if you got questions for me, please put it in all caps, okay? Just like every other YouTube channel, okay? Don't have to go over this all the time, but still do. As you know, we have new mods. Now, mods, I've had some comments here from you and from others. The only thing that we need to be removing from the comments are either obnoxious, rude comments or spam, people trying to sell something, anything like that. Other than that, let the conversation flow, okay? Everybody, if you're watching the channel, act respectfully toward everybody else in here. If you're moderating the channel, just make sure that that's what's going on. That's it. It's real simple. The one thing that I don't put up with is rudeness, obnoxiousness, being a pain in the ass to other people, me or anybody else in the chat. Okay, that you're just gone. There's no questions about that one. I don't want you here if that's your intent. Okay, you're not a prepper. You're a pain in the ass. We're here for community, for fellowship, for support, for ideas, to learn from me and what you guys teach me. It's a two-way street. So if you want to participate in that, feel free. If you don't want to participate in that, you just want to be a thorn in everybody's side, go somewhere else. So, all right, let's get into questions here, and let's see what you guys got. So we try to find where we start. There's all the greetings and goods to see you. It's me, said my notifications are turned off again. Guys, I'm going to say this, okay? YouTube is messing with everybody, especially the conservative channels, okay? They're shutting off notifications. They're unsubscribing people. They've been doing that for about a year. Now they are messing with the volume in videos, okay? And I'm going to ask this real quick. Do not make a comment in the comment sections anymore about the audio on my videos. All I'm going to do is block you from making any more comments. As far as I'm concerned, any more comments about the audio is just a shitty, insulting comment. So I'm just going to block you. Simple as that. Okay. I've done everything I can to fix it. It's not broken on my end. So it's either on your end or it is YouTube messing with it. Don't need to tell me I can't fix either one of those problems. Okay. So it's just, it doesn't bring anything to the conversation. I'm not going to acknowledge it anymore. The second one, somebody said to me today, I got an email from one of you guys. I guess the other way that YouTube is really trying to have fun with this, and this one I can't figure out, okay? We all know YouTube's revenue, Google's revenue is down. YouTube revenue was down 30% for 2023. They're not getting the premiums for selling advertising as they were before. So it seems to be what they're doing is pumping more ads into videos. Now, they've changed the ads. I've noticed now that there's a lot more of them that you can't skip. They're 15-second ads or something, so they got to let them run out. You can't just let them run for 5 seconds. But somebody emailed me today on my morning video that it had 20 some odd ads in it. That's insane. It was only a 23-minute video. You don't need an ad every minute, okay? This isn't Turner Classic Movies or something like that where you see 5 minutes of movie and then 10 minutes of commercials. So I don't know if that's how they're taking channels and going, hey, this is a longer video. Let's pump a ton of videos in there so we can boost our revenue. Or if they're trying to put so many ads in conservative videos that people just don't watch them. I don't know. Okay. I don't control the ads. I watched the video. I got 2 ads. Okay. Somebody else said they got over 20. I have no control over it. Please bear with me. It sucks. I get it. I don't know why they're doing, well, I know why they're doing this. I'm not towing the liberal line. I'll never toe the liberal line. I mean, if Joe is planted in Woodlawn Cemetery tomorrow, I'm buying the beer. So, the sooner we get every communist liberal out of this country, I don't care how, okay, whether it's put them on a boat, a plane, or 6 feet under, any of those are okay with me. I'm going to keep talking. So, but yeah, yes, we all know. I mean, I'm shadow banned like crazy. We know that. A lot of the other prepper channels are as well. They just can't shut us down because Congress is looking into it too much. Neighbor Bob, happy Saturday, Pinball. Any special remedies I know of for sciatica pain? No, I don't. This would be anybody in here who's more knowledgeable about maybe herbalism. Mrs. Mountaintop Preps, I'm talking to you. Or anybody else who knows some of that. Maybe one of y'all has an answer for neighbor Bob in there. But no, I don't have a sciatica issue, so I never tried anything. Jackie Royce, when you start seeds, do you leave the grow light on all the time? No, you do not. Put it on a timer, like a Christmas tree timer or something like that. And you want to leave it on for about 14 to 16 hours, and then shut it off for 8, okay? Or 6 to 8, whatever, you got there, but 6 to 8 hours. You want it to kind of get a chance to relax, okay? It's going to work to try to grow with that light during the lights on, and then you want it to be able to relax and then grow again. So yeah, shoot for 14 to 16 hours, 14 to 18, somewhere in there, of the lights being on, and then shut them off. So, I mean, even if at best you do it this way, you turn on your grow lights when you get up in the morning, come down, make your cup of coffee, throw the switch. Before you go to bed at night, shut it off. For most people, that's 16 hours. So, let's see. Montana Grizz fan says, hello from the free state of Montana. Let's hope it stays that way. And let's hope John Tester loses. Do something about that, will you? Romy Davis says, hello from deep South Texas. There you go. I mean, how's the weather down there lately? All I know is this. It was 60 some odd degrees here earlier this week. It never got out of the 30s today. So, yeah, it was just cold. That was it. I mean, not 2 degrees like we had a couple of weeks back, but Mrs. P and I going out for our daily walk and stuff like that, try to get a little exercise in. It's like, today it's a little cold. We'll do this indoors. So we just kind of did laps around the grocery store. Let's see. Sports Mobile 83. Unfortunately, I believe Mr. T is part of it too. I'm assuming you mean Trump, and that I'll pity the fool. They are all political actors, acting president, acting vice president. Yes, but Trump's not a politician. Maybe he's a little bit more now than he was in 2016. Trump's still a businessman. The rest of them are politicians. You know, you spend 50 years in Washington, go, well, I worked as a pool lifeguard back in the 60s. You're a politician, okay? You don't have any job experience whatsoever. Okay? But I get what you're saying. Kevin Little, today's homeless video was great. I was there myself many years ago before I was a prepper. Good info to share. That was a tough one to make. It was something that I've been thinking about, and I was reading just some news today about how more and more people are losing jobs and becoming homeless and stuff. And I kind of went back into what I went through and what I did that saved my sanity, okay, if you will. And I mean, things that I learned along the way. But, I mean, everything I told you in there, with the exception of the prepaid cell phone, I did, okay? I sold well, I take it back. The other thing I didn't do is I didn't drive south. But, I sold everything I had. I cobbled together whatever I could, had whatever, and drove until I hopefully had a job that, of course, fell through. You guys know my story. I'm not going to rehash the whole thing. But it was sleeping in the car and having a pillow and, being somewhere where I could get free water, where I could take a sponge bath, if you will, in a sink. At least, like I said, wash my pits and put some deodorant on, having clean clothes. Those things are important. I mean, not only it's important for your mental well-being, okay, to go, okay, life sucks, but I'm not at the bottom, I can still go back up. Healthy disrespect for authority. Have I found myself way more thirsty since starting carnivore? Yeah, me and bottles of water. I'm going through 4 to 6 bottles of water a day, so 2 to 3 liters of it. And I think I know why, is because you're eating more salt in your diet, so it makes you thirsty. And for me, especially because I'm not a salt person, okay? I mean, the only things I ever added salt to, sure, you add a little bit when you're cooking or whatever. I'm a pepper guy. I'd put salt on my corn on the cob, and I'd put salt on my French fries. The 1 or 2 times a year I might eat French fries, and the 5 or 6 times I'd eat corn on the cob. So I didn't get a whole lot of salt in my diet other than what was already in the food as it was cooked. Well, now, of course, I've got to add salt to my diet. So that is changing things up and making me a lot more thirsty. And not saying medically or anything like that. That's just my assumption based on my lifestyle. But yes, I am seeing myself drink more. Mrs. P's thrilled I'm drinking more water. Told her today, I said, you realize I've gone 2 weeks without a beer? And she's like, yeah. So, Ed Kirkpatrick, do I know what type of lime works fastest for the garden? I'm guessing that you're asking whether it's powdered or pelletized or whatever. You want to use powdered lime, okay? The smaller it is, the sooner it's going to break down. So yeah, anything that you can use powdered is going to be best. There we go, shut to the bottom. Okay. That's pretty close to where we were. Holly H., my opinion on the truckers not delivering to New York City. So I saw this evening that apparently there's going to be some sort of truckers strike where I guess they're protesting the Trump idiot, the $355 million bullshit thing that's going to be overturned in a heartbeat because there's, oh, I don't know, a dozen reasons they can go up for appeal on this. But I guess there's some stories about the truckers that are going to refuse to deliver their wares, whatever it be, to New York. My answer is I'll believe it when I see it, okay? Because it's fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you. We heard about that whole huge trucker convoy a couple of years ago. It was supposed to go to Washington that kind of petered out. We heard a couple of weeks ago this whole huge trucker convoy was supposed to go to Texas and Arizona and California. We didn't get it, okay? So my opinion on it, I'll believe it when I see it. And I'm not optimistic it happens. So, John Faramelli, good evening, Mr. P. Does an EMP shield make a protector for a solar generator? Okay, and I know we get into this question almost every live stream now at this point, and please understand that there's no proof these things work. They work in a lab, that is it, okay? So everything that I'm saying is take with a grain of salt. I'm just trying to logically work it through. Now I've got an EMP shield that is hooked into my breaker box, so it covers my entire house, okay? My solar generator setup, okay, for the house is obviously hooked into the breaker box and is hooked into the smart panel, okay? I've showed you guys how that all worked. So, yes, those should be protected by the EMP or by the EMP shield. Okay. Am I certain it's going to happen? No. Can anybody be certain happen? No. Can the companies tell you that they're going to guarantee it? No. Okay. Hopefully it works. Now, the portable ones that I have, there's really no way to hook up an EMP shield to it because you don't have a hardwire somewhere for them. Okay. So, because it's not like something you stick in the wall socket and then plug into it. It doesn't work that way. It's got to be hardwired into the house. So for your portable generators, the only potential answer is to have them in a Faraday cage, a Faraday box, a Faraday bag, whatever. Okay. And hope for the best. But as for the EMP shield, the only way that's going to work for your solar generators is if they are actually hooked up to the breaker in the house. Laura Story, Pinball, do you have a smokehouse and what have you smoked in it? Laura, I recognize your name, so it's not like you're new here. Yeah, I built my smokehouse, about 4 years ago? It's a 4-foot square by 8-foot high smokehouse. I mean, I can smoke a deer in there. I can smoke a whole hog in there if I want to. We've smoked brisket in there. We've smoked pork loin in there. We've smoked chicken in there. I think that's it. The objective is to be able to smoke a deer in it if we get one, preserve meat, okay? Smoke fish in it. It's something that's nice to have. I mean, if you got your little Traeger smoker to, smoke your chicken or smoke your briskets or whatever for holidays, that's great, okay? You're not sticking a whole animal in there. I can stick a whole animal in mine. That's the reason for it. It's a prep. It's something I can use now, no question, okay? But it's big enough where if we get to the point where the only grocery store is going out and hunting Bambi, and we don't have electricity, and you're not going to have ice, and how many hundreds of pounds of salt you need or whatever, you're going to have to preserve that meat somehow. That's why I've got that. You're going to take an awful lot of time trying to cut it all up and smoke 10 pounds, 15 pounds at a time out of any sort of hog or deer or anything like that you get. And I don't think you're going to waste your time smoking a squirrel. So, David Senia, hey, Mr. Pinball, can you make a or some videos on prepping for puppies? I've made a couple of them. The most important one that I made was how to make dog food. Okay. A lot of out of your preps and out of your garden, nutritious dog food, because your dogs are going to be one of your most important preps, security wise, because they can hear stuff you can't. I mean, I've told you guys before, the dogs know the sound of the UPS truck. The guy's half a mile to three-quarters of a mile away. I couldn't see him. I certainly can't hear him. They can. They'll start barking and they'll run over to this door over here. Now, whether or not the guy's even coming to our house or driving past, but they know when he's coming. And then 2 minutes later, all of a sudden, here's the UPS truck. Okay. Now, imagine that if the Chinese come over the hill, if Antifa comes over the hill, okay, if Joe's Raiders come over the hill, whatever, they're gonna hear what we can't. And I mean, footsteps, whatever, walking through the woods, they'll start barking. They'll point. Okay. Where are they barking at? Gee, where am I going to have a rifle trained at? You know. So yeah, you're right about prepping for your dogs. It's very important, but I know it's hard. I've got 2,500 some odd videos out there. I have done some. It might be time to redo a couple of them. Karen G, how's the diet going? Well, today is weigh-in day, so Mrs. P and I weigh in every Saturday. Saturday morning is weigh-in day. I lost 2/10 of a pound this week. Yeah, what, 3 ounces? Something like that. Did not lose any size in my chest or my belly or anything like that. So I basically stayed where I was. Mrs. P lost 3.5 pounds, I think it was, somewhere thereabouts, and a half an inch on her waist. So she was pretty happy. We kind of figured out what the deal is with me, and we're still trying to dial in the diet. I've got to get to a certain amount of my calories from fat and a certain from proteins, and then how many calories you're taking in. And I went through today and I was looking at some of what I had eaten this week. I'm like, okay, here's a day where I ate 2,500 calories. All right, you're going to have a hard time losing weight when you're eating 2,500 calories. And then we also worked out some diet. It was like tonight for dinner, we had a rump roast. Okay, some part of the cow we got. And so I looked up afterwards, like, oh, this is great, high in protein, extra lean meat. I'm going, well, shit, that doesn't help. There's no fat in it. So my calories from fat today was like 41%. It's supposed to be at 70. So I've had a hard time this week getting into ketosis. So it doesn't surprise me that I didn't lose weight. So still, like I said, still trying to dial the diet in. Mama Preps 4, I'm teaching myself a new skill, rendering beef fat for the first time. There you go. Yeah, it's something that I need, like I was just talking about, not enough fat in my diet. Gloria Hubert, did I hear about the truckers? Yeah, we just talked about that. Joe Shinpaw, Pinball, what potting mix would I suggest for seed starting? None of them. Okay. Don't waste your money. In the gardening playlist, if you go look, there is a video on how to make your own seed starting mix. Literally, it's peat moss, vermiculite, and a teeny tiny bit of a very low fertilizer, which if you want to, you can just put some coffee grounds and some dried up banana peel in there and you're gonna be fine, okay? Because all that soil is gonna go in anyway. It'll save you 96, 97% of the cost of buying a bag of seed starting mix. I mean, you can buy one of those big bricks of peat moss, at least you could last year, for under 20 bucks. A bag of vermiculite, I get the big one from Amazon. It's like, the size of a king size pillow. It'll last me about 4 years. That cost me maybe 20 bucks a year to use. Okay. So for the amount of plants that I grow, I think I had 300 and some odd seeds that plants that I started, 300, 400 seeds last year. $40 to do that. If I would have done that with bagged seed starting mix, I'd have spent a few $100s on just the soil. No. Get yourself a bag of peat moss, get yourself some vermiculite, get yourself some little 3-4-4 fertilizer, and you got everything to make it on your own. It's a hell of a lot cheaper. Susan Musser, why did Navalny leave Europe after he was poisoned? God, now you see, I remember this. He was, what was it? He was in Germany and he was in a German hospital or something. And I don't remember the reason. There was a reason he went back to Russia. I don't remember if it was for family or something, but or they extradited him. I don't remember the exact reason, but yeah. I agree with you. It's like, okay, I'd have been somewhere where, no, you're not sending me back. But, he was a vocal critic. I think a lot of it, he wanted to go back too. He wanted to keep fighting. And, he got a little too big for his britches, I guess is the only thing I'd say. You're not going to go up against somebody like Putin, a practical dictator, and say the stuff he did. So, Tristan Davis says they're also adding excessive every 45-second ads to channels. Yeah, I was talking about that. The 20 some odd ads this morning. It pissed me off. Joni, hi Pinball. How did I meet Mrs. Pinball? Where did you meet her? Actually, we met online. Okay. I've told the story multiple times. I'll give you just because obviously you're relatively new. Mrs. P and I met online around, I was actually looking, it was Thanksgiving weekend, 2014. And I was looking around for a place to find like a pen pal in the Czech Republic so I could practice on my Czech. And one thing led to another, and I wound up seeing this dating site or whatever. I was single at the time. I wasn't dating anybody. Where I said, looked, okay, what the hell? And so I sent an email out to a couple of people who looked interesting, one being Mrs. P. And Mrs. P got back to me, and we got to talking. And 5 months later, 6 months later, we talked basically every day. And so I flew out to Russia for a week and a half, and we met and decided, hey, this is worth pursuing. And so we did all the stuff to get her here, and she got here in September of 2015. So we knew each other at that point for 10 months, got married in October of 2015. No, we got married. No, she got here in October and we got married in November. Sorry, forget my anniversary. No, I won't do that. Day before Veterans Day. Okie Forge, I had a look for your live stream notification on your main page under live. Yeah, I mean, this is it. They are trying to, like I said earlier, they're just trying to shadow ban all of us, to not let us talk. We know it, okay? And, as I've said many times, you guys know every morning I'm going to have a video up. Just go to the homepage and look for it, okay? 80% of the time, I'm going to have a video up around lunchtime. Just go to the homepage and look for it. Very rarely do I miss the live stream on Tuesday or Saturday. Something's got to come up that I can't do it. Okay, so every Tuesday and Saturday I'm going to be here. I mean, I'm very predictable on my schedule, and I try to do that because I know they're going to mess with it. So you guys know that. Okay, it's coffee time. Okay, it's lunchtime. Okay, it's Tuesday at 8 o'clock. We go. Catherine Somali. Okay. Have we tried pork rinds for frying yet? Fried chicken, for example. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 10 bags of pork rinds sitting on my kitchen counter right now. Because we had to go to the grocery store today. And so we bought all the pork rinds, the original, not the honey mustard or the barbecue, the ones that are just pork rinds and salt. all the bags except for one. We left one on the shelf just because 10 was an even number. So yes, and that is something that adds to fat, adds to protein, adds some calories, but you know, quite a. And Mrs. P likes them for a snack. I mean, they go as my side dish with my dinner. Uh, it's like, what was it today? Lunch was a couple of cans of sardines, and dinner was about a pound and a half of rump roast and some pork rinds. That was today's meals. I know it sounds boring as hell. I'm just hoping to God it works. So, we already Buzzard. We already talked about the smokehouse. Okay. Heather Bray, all ads suck, and I'm not paying for no ads. I agree with you too. It's like, okay, I'm watching a video. I'm not paying YouTube for the privilege of not watching ads. I'm sorry, it's not happening. I'm just going to skip them as fast as I can. Now, I will give you guys a tip. Okay, if you download a video, if you got one of the YouTube video downloaders or whatever it is, if you download a video, because I do this with like Christmas music, if you go on Christmas time, there's like YouTube channels with 12 hours of Christmas music. You want to just put it on and forget about it all day long. It's great that they got it, but YouTube was wonderful a couple of years ago. They put an ad after every song, and it would drive you insane. It's like one Christmas song, 3 minutes, an ad. One Christmas song, an ad. So I figured, okay, I'm going to do it the easy way. I downloaded the entire video, no ads. Okay. Just smile. Pinball, is it wrong to be happy Corey Bush might lose? No, of course not. I mean, Corey Bush needs to get on a boat and go back to Africa. That's it. Okay. She is the biggest racist in Congress, hypocritical like crazy. She wants everybody to give up guns, but she's basically said, no, I'm important. I need a security detail. You're not important there, Mr. Constituent, but I am. Okay. She's the one standing up there demanding reparations all over the place, and screaming from the top of her lungs on the lie, okay, that her race is being persecuted by white people. Okay. She doesn't want to use the actual crime statistics from her district. You can't use facts. Facts are racist. Okay. No. Yeah. If Corey Bush loses, please send her ass somewhere else. My hat looks thinner. No, the hat's not on a diet. Sean Ondell, anybody have a good, easy beef liver recipe? Just got fresh liver from a local butcher. The only way I know how to cook it is to fry it in butter. Now, my mother made the absolute worst beef liver in the world. Okay? Because she, for some reason, was insistent. She liked it like crispy bacon. And I mean, you overcook liver, it's shoe leather. Okay? I don't like crispy bacon either. Liver needs to be cooked over butter to about medium rare. Okay. That's it. And then it's a very tasty meat, very nutritious too. You overcook it, and it's like chewing on rubber bands. Soapy Gal, have I watched Wartime Kitchen about World War II England? No, I'm guessing it's a YouTube channel, but no, I've never heard of it. Reagan Dog, ads and live streams suck. Are they still doing that? I have not heard from you guys about them putting ads in the middle of live streams. I know we had an issue when they rolled that out, 6 months ago, that all of a sudden there was an ad coming in the middle of the live stream. And I mean, I raised hell about that because, especially when we were doing giveaways or something like that, I didn't need somebody to have an ad pop up at the same time or whatever. And I haven't heard from you guys that there have been any more. So, but yeah, I don't know. So hopefully not. Jet, I'm watching anyway. 14 this morning. That's what you're saying. There were ads. Yeah. Unreal. How's the carnivore diet going? I talked about that earlier. Michael Ahrens, it's called ad bombing. It's done to cause frustration, as you said. Well, yeah, I mean, it causes frustration for you guys, which then you guys bitch at me, which causes frustration for me, and I got nobody to bitch at. Ugh. Okay. Like-minded. Holes in our preps, a toilet bowl ring and a fire extinguisher, just to shout out. Okay, when you're saying toilet bowl ring, are you talking like the wax ring underneath? You shouldn't ever have to replace that unless you remove the toilet. So I wouldn't necessarily call that a prep. If you're talking about toilet bowl seat, okay, yeah, those things will break. A fire extinguisher, that's absolutely, you need to have multiples of those, okay? I mean, just for safety reasons, you should have one in the garage, one in the kitchen, and probably one in your laundry room, because those are the three most common places that a fire starts. So, depending on where your garage is to your laundry room, you're not gonna, sometimes they're right, walk through the laundry room and go into the garage. Okay, I get that. But can you get to one from the other? It doesn't do you any good if you're in the living room, the fire's in the laundry room, and the garage is on the other side of the laundry room, or the fire extinguisher's in the garage on the other side. You can't go through the fire to get it. So, yeah, but fire extinguishers, definitely, that's an absolute must have. Hardstyle says, I've been at 106,000 subs for a long time. Actually, I got to 100, I was at 105 for a long time. I hit 106 maybe about 2 weeks ago. So it's slowly going up. We'll probably hit 107 in a week or so, maybe by the end of the month. Rose Boring. Mr. P, I watch all of your videos. I may get one ad, and that's it. Thank goodness. Yeah, I don't know how they do it. It's not the same for everybody. So, Estate Time 85, great vid today about homeless preparation. Thank you. I'm hoping that's information that nobody never needs to use. That you just put in the back of your head and go, yeah, okay. And that you maybe can pass it on to somebody that needs it. I'm hoping we don't, but just in case. Grammy Karen, thinking about getting 10 meat chickens, pros and cons. If you got the space, absolutely go for it. The pros, okay. I mean, you go to the store now and a chicken, a whole chicken costs you about $7. It's ridiculous what a whole chicken costs. So pros, yeah, you're going to save some money on it. Okay. The cons, the food. Now, can you feed your chickens out of your garden? Absolutely. That'd be the way to go. Going out and spending money on chicken feed is going to be ridiculously expensive. So if you can feed them what comes out of your garden, you can kind of make that whole food system work. Take your seed, plant that, go grow a bunch of stuff, whatever, feed the chickens with it, and then eat the chickens. Literally what you're doing is you're turning one little vegetable seed into a chicken dinner. Okay. Take some time, but yeah, that's a good return on investment. My McIntyre, do we have a new weigh-in? I started carnivore 6 days ago. Like I said, we weigh in once a week. I came in, what was it this morning? It was 296.8. which sucks because I was like 293 on Tuesday. But yeah, I mean, I don't care. I'm still the official for us is once a week, every Saturday. So, because you can't, even though everybody likes to, and I, do it every morning anyway to see how I'm doing. You can't ever. It's not going to be like this. You're going to go like this all the way down. It's like, oh crap, I gained 2 pounds yesterday. Who knows? Maybe you haven't had a bowel movement and you're holding a little bit more. Uh, maybe you retained a little bit more water because of the amount of salt you ate yesterday. Over time, it'll balance out. But, it's like, well, I'm going to weigh myself at 7 o'clock and see if I will lost any weight by 8 o'clock. Really? Okay. It need wider time period. But I know I do it too. Let's see. Janet West, did I see where Soros bought over 200 radio stations? I heard this much about it. Yeah, who knows? I mean, were they AM stations, FM stations, music stations, talk radio stations? What, who knows what they were? But I mean, honestly, you really get into it. How many people watch TV anymore? How many people listen to the radio anymore? Not many. Okay. Gee, I want to listen to music in the car. I just put my playlist on my phone and I listen to music I want to hear. And just like here, I don't have to listen to all the commercials. It's like, you go take a 10-minute drive to the store and a commercial comes on when you leave the house, and it's like you get to the store and they're still playing commercials. It's like, I don't care. So Cat Lady, Delta Dental sent me a letter saying they had a data breach. This is a major corporation, and the letter says their payment service that was hacked and their info was compromised put a freeze on my credit. Yeah, you guys, that's the thing. You need to be checking. I mean, there's, was it Credit Karma, Wallet Hub? There's a couple of, and you can check your credit. You can sign up for credit alerts if anything looks funky. I mean, I know I get them. Your bank will tell you, but I mean, it's great you sign up with your bank. The bank goes, we have this suspicious charge on your credit card. Okay, that's fine. But let's say, for example, somebody gets your identification and goes open an account at Bank of America, and you don't have a Bank of America account. You don't ever know it till all of a sudden, Mr. Jones, you owe $6,000 in your Bank of America card. I don't have one. Oh, yeah, you do. You've had it for 2 years. You haven't paid on it. Okay. You need to be checking your credit. I mean, personally, the internet is great for this. I look at my bank account every day. It's a glance, okay, just to see, make sure that there's no funky charges from the day before. And so, and I have found it. One time I actually found one, said, what is this? And the bank got it fixed. But, it wasn't like you were waiting till the bank statement shows up a month later and then you just kind of glance over, how did I bounce a check? Or, something like that. Why does my balance look wrong? Yeah. You need to pay attention to that. And, set yourself up with a credit alert through one of the Credit Karmas or something like that, that if something comes up, you're just going to get an email. Gene Blair, very blustery winds here in Michigan. Well, it's still February. So, yeah. I mean, as much as we all want spring to be here, we still got 6 weeks. Let's see. Shirley, Pinball, anybody messing with you is messing with this mean old lady. Not a good thing to do. Thanks, Shirley. I like that. Get off my lawn. Or are you the type that's running out with a rolling pin, curlers in your hair? So, yeah. Either way, that works. A lot of you guys asking how the diet's going. I've touched that already, so I'm not going to go over it again. Let's see. All right, trying to find Lady Brady, Tennessee. Hi, Pinball. If you find yourself running shy on fats, get some MCT oil. From what I've understood, that is a plant product. So that is outside the realm of what I can. Not sure, but I know people talk about coconut oil or olive oil or something like that. That's not yet, no. So uh if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I apologize, but I heard something about MCT today when I was looking up the fats thing, and they were like, that's something that you don't want to do if you're doing carnivore. Robert Bates, Pinball, does Mrs. P drink alcohol, and did she stop when you did? Mrs. P was never been a drinker, at least the time. I mean, at the holidays, she will drink. Uh, Maybe once during the summer or something like that, she'll get going. But for Mrs. P to not drink is no big deal. I mean, even then, I didn't drink that much. It'd be a regular beer here and there. Most of it was the NA beers, but I just liked them. And it's not like you can find zero carb beer. Kind of how it's made. But so yeah, so that's something that it just got completely cut out. I was like, okay, deal with it. Fat Man Prepper, with silver being fairly stable at 21 to 23 per ounce, what are my thoughts on buying? Do you think it's going to go down more? I talked about this a while back. The bottom, again, looking at technical analysis, the bottom for silver was in that 2150, 2175 range. So that should be, no guarantees, as far down as it goes. If you got it on the cheap. One of y'all sent me a email this week that SD Bullion had a sale. They were selling 10-ounce bars for 89 cents over spot. That's cheap. Okay. Usually you're seeing silver at, $2 and change over spot, 239, 249. It was 89 cents over spot. You see deals like that, guys, jump on them. Catherine Smalley, look into desserts that are carnivore. They're out there. Yeah, I mean, I've watched, I can't tell you how many videos. I mean, there's boatloads of videos on YouTube about meal prep and, every blood test and, different recipes, pick stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah, I've seen a bunch of them. Uh, the dessert part about it, I'm not a dessert guy. I've never been a dessert guy. So, like I said, cutting the sugars out of my diet was no big deal. It was cutting the carbs out. That's what I had, and one of the big ones was the beer. So that's out. Pasta's out, potatoes are out, rice is out. I mean, well, all vegetables are out, but so that's where it is with me. But the sweet, I don't have this. Mrs. P was the sweet tooth, and she even said today that she's having an issue with her sweet tooth, and so she's got her sugar-free, caffeine-free Diet Coke or whatever it would be, just so she can have something that's got somewhat of a sweet taste to it. So, but she's the one that loved bakery, and and I know it's got to be killing her because she hasn't had a donut or a turnover or anything like that in 2 weeks now. So I'm very proud of her for sticking it up because I know that's tough for her too. Paladin 1, wasn't Corey Bush arrested in the Ferguson riots while drunk and with a gun? I don't remember that, so I'm not sure. Buford the Gardener says diet and PT. We are getting our PT in. I mean, as much as we can. We started walking. After talking to the nutritionist on Monday, we started walking on Tuesday. And so we walk, we do a lap that's about 1.5 miles uh, up and down the street here. So, 3/4 of a mile out, 3/4 of a mile back. Now, if you've ever been to East Tennessee, you know that there is nothing flat in East Tennessee. So this is walking hills. So you get a little bit of downtime and you get some up. Okay. And both of us, when we make our turn, the last part of going down to 3/4 is going downhill. And then we've got this incline that we got to start our way back going up this incline. And I mean, you're marching at, I mean, you're pushing, those knees never lock. You know what it's like when you're leaning forward trying to climb. Yeah. So, get the heart rate up, get some cardio in, get some exercise. We've got the pedometers on our phone. We burn, was it 200 to 400 calories on that walk. So, okay. And I'm trying to keep my food intake around 1,500 calories. So, all right, whatever else I do today during the day, go for it. So, but yes, diet and PT. Lena Turner, I'm sorry, any tips for quitting smoking? This was the only thing that worked for me. Was it 2013? I think it was. I think it was 2013. I was living in Utah at the time, obviously. It was before I met Mrs. P. And cigarettes were $70 a carton for the, not super generic ones, but I think it was the Cambridge, the brand. And I was like, that's crazy. I mean, when I was in the Army, now granted I was buying cigarettes in the commissary, I was getting a carton of cigarettes for $2.50, and now they were $70. And I'm like, no. And I was at Brett's house, and one of his friends came over one day and had an e-cig. I'm like, what the hell is that? I showed it to me. So I went down to the store the next day and I looked at him and was like, okay, the whole setup's going to cost me the same as a carton of cigarettes. I'll give it a shot. If it works, great. If it's not, do it for a week and go back to cigarettes. And I never looked back. Good side is I don't get all the carcinogens, the tars, everything. I can breathe a whole lot better. Okay. I still get the nicotine, so you get that. The downside that I'm finding about this is you are using vegetable glycerin as the, what's the word? I can't think of what the word is. Carrier or whatever of the flavor. Okay. Well, that's sugar. And so, that is adding to the glucose levels in my blood. Now, I'm in the middle of changing a diet, and people said, oh, did you give up coffee? Okay, first off, that's nuts. Okay. And giving up nicotine at the same time. I mean, can you imagine somebody go, you know what? It's Monday morning. I think I'm going to completely change my diet, stop drinking coffee, and I'm going to give up smoking. Do you want to be around that person by lunch? No. So, step by step. We'll see. It's 9:58. Okay. Essential Tam says, I haven't seen the live stream ad since the rollout. Good. Okay, that's good. Delta Prepper, to Mrs. P and I bake our own bread. What kind? Not right now because we can't have bread. So the only kind of bread that I am potentially going to be making is by grinding up pork rinds and turning that into a bread. Yes, there's actually a recipe for that. Kim Edmondson, should we prep blankets to block it? Heat sensor devices in drones? Do the emergency blankets work for that purpose? I'm not thinking some $2 glorified piece of aluminum foil is going to stop high technology drones and heat sensors. Okay. I could be wrong, but overall, drones aren't something I'm worried about. Okay. I mean, if who's ever military has got such a problem with a few houses out in Sharps Chapel, Tennessee. That's the world's gone completely to shit already. All right. Porsche Panache pinball. It takes a good 2 to 3 weeks for your body to go into keto. No, because when I tested my blood yesterday, my ketones were at 0.3. Okay, you should be at 0.5 or above to be in ketosis. Mrs. P started 2 days after I did on her diet. She was at 1.1, so she's in ketosis. I'm not. So that was it. All right, guys. 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, she's just short of 2 weeks, but possible. So close, but yeah, big difference. Us eating the same food, total difference in our blood. But that's it for Saturday night. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy a good night's sleep. See you in the morning. Pinball out.